Hey gamers, Rick here with Game Trade Media, coming to you from GAMA Trade Show in Reno, Nevada. I've got Chris from, wait for it, Wizkids. And they have Chris has brought us some amazing games to look at.
Yeah.
And the first one up is
Smash City. So this game, probably one of the most popular that we have right now, especially here at GTS, is a dice rolling kaiju combat game.
Okay.
You play as the monsters, and each one of these dice are the monster with different special effects and abilities shown on them. What do you think of these dice? Just out of your own opinion.
So they're pretty sturdy foam, and they feel, by looking at them, that they potentially could do some pretty devastating things.
So we went through probably about 7 or 8 different versions of these dice, different sizes, different weights and everything, to come up with something that we felt was the great density, not too light, not too heavy, to basically roll and destroy these buildings. So in the game, there's going to be a bigger mat on here. This is just kind of like the component pieces for you and everything. You're going to take your monster and you're going to roll it underhand at a building. Rick, why don't you go ahead and try that?
I mean, but how hard?
How
hard are we allowed to roll these?
That's up to you. Ideally, what you want to do when you're playing it, the mat's not here, so it doesn't matter. So you don't want to roll off the mat. If you roll off the mat, you lose your turn.
Okay.
But now it's kind of figuring out what's a good way to knock down a building.
Sure.
See what you can do. Aha, see? Perfect.
Like that.
Mm-hmm. So the bigger ones are natural monsters. We good. So the bigger ones are obviously a lot easier to knock down. The little ones are a little bit more difficult and everything.
Sure.
But every time you knock down a building, you get something called a smash card, which is like a special ability, body throw, or some other type of crazy special effect. In addition to that, if your dice happen to be landing and touching a building, like physically, you're going to put your element on it. Okay. So Giga Shogun here is electrical, so this is obviously electrified.
All right.
So now say Toxiguana rolls in and touches it, it's shocked. So it's going to take 1 damage, but then it'll replace with its own elemental thing, which is like this toxic ability in here.
Okay.
So it's just one of many ways that you're going to do damage. On the dice themselves, there are numbers on it. One of the actions you can do in your turn is something that's within a range, and we have a little range finder right here, so you can kind of see what's in like your monster's range. You can do 3 damage to another monster. You can do 3 damage to a military unit, which if you destroy them, you'll get special abilities, drawing smash cards or doing other things, and you're also going to earn these power-up tokens. Same thing when you hit a monster. The goal of the game is to collect as many of these power-up tokens as you can. Okay. Because once a monster hits 10 damage, the game is over, and whoever has the most wins. Okay. So you may be knocked out of sorts. Well, you're really not knocked out. Monsters never get knocked out. You may hit 10 damage first, but you'll have more power-up tokens than your opponent.
Right.
Thus, you're still the better monster.
Of course.
So there's other things, like there's cars that'll be around the map as well. If you're within range of a car, you can pick it up and you can do one of 2 things. There's either a special ability on the bottom, or you can literally take it and throw it at your opponent. If you hit them, you do 1 damage.
Nice.
If you miss, you miss. That means you got to be a better monster next time. So this game comes with, I think it's about 10 or 12 of these standing buildings on them, all different sizes and everything. A lot of different military tiles of different strengths and weaknesses. And these 4 monsters with these 4 nice and big monstrous dice.
I mean, I can't even squeeze that. It's
a really...
dense. Yeah, it's good.
Well, some of them were a lot, like I said, a lot of them were a lot harder. You still can get a squeeze on the side to get it. Yeah. But other ones, you could just it was almost like a stress ball. And that really didn't work very well for us either. So we like these dice. These are great dice.
So when does this come out?
So Smash City is expected out in May for $39.99.
Nice.
And like I said, we put on the box 14 plus, but that's because there's some small pieces applied or whatever.
Sure.
We have some people in the office who have young children, 5, 6, 7-year-olds. Love it.
I'm sure they do.
Because you're playing bowling in a sense with all these buildings, and even if they don't follow the rules, they're just like, destroy stuff.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so cool. So many great age range for
Very
this
cool.
one.
And it's 1 to 4 players?
Yeah, it's 2 to 4 players, but I mean, I can be a solo monster if you want to.
Yeah, if you just want to practice your crushing, smashing skills.
You can go do it on your own, exactly.
Yes. I can dig it.
Awesome.
And this is out when?
May.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, so you guys partnered up with
Games Workshop.
And this looks like it might be a part of that.
Absolutely. So we've been using currently the Warhammer license for Dice Masters. We have that for the one that came out last year, Battle Ultimar, and then we have a new Dice Master coming out later this year. But we're going now into Age of Sigmar Warhammer, which I believe is a separate storyline in its own right. And we have here the Rise and Fall of Anvalore. This is a semi-cooperative castle defense style game where you take control over one of the, I believe we have like 6 different factions in there. And you're going to work either by yourself, because it's a 1 to 4 player game, or with other players, to pretty much create a stronghold in the middle here to defend against the raiders that'll be coming in. So every turn you're going to have a hand of these cards, and they're pretty thick cardboard. Like, this is a heavy game. Like,
these are very much more tile than cards.
Yes, they are. So each one has particular values to them. It's like a how much they're worth, and then what they are like. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Are you going to show this in here?
Oh, you can show that one. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So in the upper right hand, it shows how much the card costs in order to play, and then in the other side, it shows how much that card is worth. So the one in your hand is worth 1 gold, but you would need 1 workman in order to play it. So ideally, from your hand, if you had something that was worth 1 gold to play, you could discard this, and then you would place that tile down anywhere on the board. Players would go back and forth, basically, again, building up their stronghold. You're going to put down your buildings. You're going to put down your units. As you're doing that, you're rolling a d6, and depending on what you roll, 1, 2, 3, 4, enemies are going to start appearing on the field. 5 is a special ability. 6 is another special ability, but that plays into the difficulty level of the game. So each enemy has 4 different difficulty levels that you'll switch out for the number 6 die roll. Once you get at least 3 guys on one side, they're going to flip over, and what's called an assault is going to begin. You're able to defend at first, so it's basically a dice roll. So every character will have a specific dice on them that they roll in order to fight back. So you roll a d6. You're going to be trying to fight any one of the characters up here. These are fairly weak, but some of them get pretty high, like 9 and 10 damage. Because that's what these are right here. That's how much health they have. If you happen to roll a number that's the highest on the dice, so if you roll a d6 and you roll a 6, it explodes, and then you roll again. So it just keeps getting more powerful. However, if you ever roll a 1, you immediately fail. So be careful on risk versus reward type deal. I'm getting all that. So ideally, the raiders will start moving down and attacking everything. So raiders will always destroy buildings regardless of anything. So they come off the board and they move down. If a unit manages to defeat a raider, they gain influence, which are these little tokens right here, equal to their health. That's what you want to get. That's how you become basically more winner. Gaining the influence. They would continue going down the board, destroying buildings and fighting enemies until they would reach the other side or get destroyed themselves, and then they would go into a discard pile. On the side, you would actually have another pile of these enemies, and that's kind of like a countdown. Once all the enemies are gone, there's one final raid, and whoever has the most victory points or influence at the end wins. Now, there is a ridiculous amount of customization in this. And oh, actually, that paper right next to you. I'll move that over just so I can throw that down so you can see that. So as you can see, there are the 6 different factions here, and then you have the 3 enemies that you fight, each with up to 4 levels of difficulty. Each faction then also has a special ability that you can choose to use at the beginning of the game. And that includes 1 through 4 players. Doesn't matter. So you could be the orange guy with that ability going against green guys level 2. Or this guy with a 4th ability going against red guys. There's just so many different ways to mix and match and play by yourself or with other players that every time you go into Anvalore to protect your stronghold, it'll be a different experience.
Wow. That's very cool. And when does this hit retail?
So this actually is going to hit in April, so really soon. $59.99.
Not bad.
You're going to get.
Let me show him something. Real quick.
Please.
So when he says $59.99 for what you're seeing,
you see this, but you get, here we go.
Look at how much more is involved in this box. All these tiles, all these tiles, all these tiles, all these bits and chunks and. There's so much in here, and I think that is a great value for this game.
So now, don't be also scared by the way that looks in there, like, because we've been pulling stuff out, and I've been moving that box around. We spent a long time, like, figuring out the best insert for that game, and the tiles fit in there perfectly. There's exact amount of room for everything. You can actually separate the bad guys, well, quote bad guys, because it's all relative in Warhammer and everything. The enemies or the raiders from who you get to play as. It's just a well-organized insert that you'll be able to open it up, see exactly what you want to play right off the hop, and get right into the battle. Again, whether it's by yourself or with other players.
It's just so much stuff. It's wild.
Oh, and then just one other thing before we move on. The board is double-sided. We're playing. I'm showing the 1-2 player side.
Okay.
And it's hard to see even with the zoom, but there's like 1 and 2 players here. So if it's a 1 player, you're only using like this part of the board, but the 2 player will use the whole thing.
Okay.
Flipping it over is a bigger board, so 3 and 4 players.
So let's take a look at that real quick.
Let's.
Yep. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, so it's more spaces to work with. So. It just kind of is like a relative size depending on how many players play. So it's not like you're using a small board with 4 players and then there's like nowhere to go. You have a huge amount of space to work with.
Nice.
But that means more things get destroyed. So.
Right. I love it. So good. All right. So let's see what else we got.
Yep.
You brought us even more board games.
Yes, I did.
So many more.
Oh, man. And this isn't even like covering a lot of the stuff that's still coming out this year. But there's a lot of stuff that like we're very excited for. So we'll do this kind of a down the line type deal. 3 Dragon Ante. For those of you that play D&D, you will recognize this game. Wizard of the Coast did produce this a while ago, I believe, like an actual game. Plus, it's part of D&D lore. So
it's canon,
So we're coming out with it again. We're reproducing it. Legendary Edition is pretty much the exact same game, but we've changed around some of the art styles on it and everything. You can see the different dragons on here, the mortals that you have, the different pieces that you're going to be playing with. This is still a prototype here, but the pieces are going to be very similar to this once we finally produce the final one. This one, I think the release date for this is around September, October for right now. But everything is subjected to change and things along that way. So,
and this is a lot of fun. I played this in the demo this week, and I had a blast because, well, I won.
Of course,
but it was so much fun because, coming up with, I did it where I had 3 of the same number.
Yes. The strength flight or whatever it is.
Flight, yep. And but there's ways where if you have 3 of the same dragon type, you get certain special things. I just really enjoyed it. And it was quick and engaging, and it's something that I think I would play in game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's actually in the instruction manuals to it, if you go to the back of it, it shows you how to play this game while you're playing the D&D game. So it's like you're waiting for someone to join your party. Sit around the table with all your characters, stay in character, and wager your own gold and see if you'll be able to gain something from actually playing 3 Dragon Ante.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It's amazing. It's so good.
Now, I used to live in the tropics in Hawaii many years ago, so I'm really interested to hear about this one here.
So Palm Trees is a game that is played strictly from your hand. So we released one that was called Maiden's Quest not too long ago, and that was again one that was strictly hand. This is more of a competitive hand game. The way that this works is you're going to take one of your hands and you're going to sit it up in kind of like a right angle way, either your dominant or recessive, whatever you feel comfortable with.
All right.
And say we're playing against each other. I have 3 cards here. I'm going to pick one of these cards, and I'm going to hand it to you. And what you need to do is you need to hold this card in that hand using whatever is colored in red. So in this case, it's your middle finger and your pinky finger have to be touching this card. You can use your other hand to put it on.
So like this.
Yeah. But once you release your other hand, that's it.
Okay.
So now you would do the same thing for me. So then I would grab one, and then I would then have to go and grab another one and say, here you go.
Okay.
The goal of this is you're literally making your hand into a palm tree. In fact, the final version of this is going to come with a sleeve that looks like the bark of a palm tree.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, but I got to maintain.
You got to maintain the other card. So the idea is we're going to keep going back and forth like this until either one of us is holding 6 cards or somebody drops a card.
Okay.
After that, you just look at the card, you see how many are still in your hand, you add up the numbers together, and whoever has the most points wins. So it's a really quick, very crazy dexterity game for your hand. And there's just so many different ways to hold this. You're going to hold it against your head. You're going to hold it against your palm. Certain cards can't touch each other. And you're going to have this crazy palm tree looking thing as your palm.
That's cool.
In the long run of it. So
nice.
So this guy is out in the summertime around August. It should be about $20.
Nice.
And like I said, it'll come with, I think, 4 sleeves.
Okay.
So really immerse yourself. Become the palm tree, if you will.
Palm tree.
Yes.
We're walking around with...
Yeah, just all these leaves and coconuts and everything. It'll be great.
Nice. All right. Now, I
love this game.
I used to have cats because of the travel and stuff. I decided, no more cats for me after the last one. But this looks like something that I would probably be about.
I'm a huge cat person. I have one cat, and he's more than enough for me. I was trying to find his card before because there's one that I think represents him in this game.
Sure.
But generally, what Kibble Scuffle is...
Take a look at
this.
this.
No problem. This is a game about feeding cats. No joke. On the field, you're going to have 3 bowls. And what you're doing is you're taking these cats and you're going to play them to each bowl. On the bowl are these pieces of kibble, each worth a certain amount of points. Okay. Once 5 cats are at a bowl, it's feeding time. So whoever played the last card, so like Blue here would say play the last card, they would take any one of the cubes, obviously taking the most valuable one, put it on their cat, and the cat's satisfied, and they walk away. And you just keep doing that until all the cubes are gone or all the cats are gone.
All right.
The greatest thing about this, and this is still like an early mock box, so there's really nothing yet, but if you notice, there is a nice open hole or nice open space, like kind of in here. We're going to be putting a usable spout in the game. So you'll be able to open this up and then like shake from the box the kibble wherever it goes. So you're actually feeding your cats.
That's hilarious.
Absolutely amazing. As a as an animal person, this the art in this is absolutely adorable. Each cat does a specific ability to either move a cat or bring more cats in from your hand, stuff like that. So there's a lot of strategy to this, but it's also cats. So it's great.
Sounds amazing.
Yes.
And that comes out when?
This one comes out, I want to say it's July and maybe August right now.
Okay.
But actually, no, I'm sorry. It's June because we got the spout working. That's what it was.
All right.
Yeah. The spout, we've got it finalized. So it should be really soon when this comes out.
Cool.
20, I believe this one is because it's a small box game.
Sure.
So
cool.
Now, one that we're all very excited over. If you want to hold that up.
Scary.
This is Hako Onna. This game has been produced 4 times in Japan so far, or reprinted up to 4 times. First time that it's coming to America. Hako Onna stands for Box Woman or Woman in Box. Okay. And the whole idea is the Hako Onna right here, who is your ghost of sorts, got placed into a box when she was younger, is haunting this haunted mansion. One player is the Hako Onna, hiding in all the boxes. Up to 4 players are trying to escape the mansion or find ways of exercising her spirit. They don't know where she is, so as you're looking for clues, you may find her. And if she finds you, she kills you. You become what's called a Hakobito, which is a box person. Okay. So now you're joining her side to kill all the other people in there. So it's a horror game that really does build up the tension because there's a lot of horror games out there, and it's hard to make horror into a board game. This one, I think, really hits it because you don't know where things are and everything's a mystery. And one person is really being mean to try to get everybody. Okay. We have a hard pin for this to come out in September, so this way you guys can have it for October, for a little thing called Halloween and everything.
I heard that's really a lot of fun.
It's a very popular thing, from what I hear. So
I heard it was. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So there you go. These are just some of the many games that will be coming out throughout the course of the year. Yeah.
That's a lot of fun stuff coming out. But, okay, so all the board games aside.
Right.
All the board games aside. You guys do some other product that I'm a huge fan of. Anybody that watches the Painting Happy Little Mini shows knows I'm a huge fan of your guys' miniature line.
So let's actually push these aside, and we'll get into that.
Perfect. So here we are with all the miniatures that you guys do that I love.
Well, a small portion of all the miniatures because we have a lot of miniatures.
This is true. This is true. I underwhelm on that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So it looks like we got some Ruins of Last Wall.
Yeah. So this is the next Pathfinder Battles pre-painted miniature set that's coming out. Should be out in around May, June-ish.
Okay.
Some really cool sculpts in this one, from the Ruins of Last Wall set. But what I really love about this is the premium set that you're going to be able to get with it, and that was the cemetery set right here. This is just a few of the many pieces that we have, and as you can see inside, there's detail straight through. Like, when you're playing this and you have a character inside, the gate even opens up and shuts as well. You place with the character inside, it's not just a flat wall inside. We didn't take away from any of the detail inside of it. You're seeing the cracks in the wall. You're seeing the roof, that's all detailed and everything like that. Yeah, we want to make sure that you are fully immersed inside of this cemetery. All of the sarcophagus open up. There's a gate that goes around it that you can set to your own size that you may need, that also the gate and everything opens up. This is probably one of the coolest pieces I've seen us ever make. Everything is finely detailed. The sides of the sarcophagus are all different, and this comes with, I think, 5 of them, something along that ways. So I obviously am very excited about this, and it is a beautiful set.
Yeah, when I first saw this, set. It was at Toy Fair. It was on display, and I had recently ran an adventure, a one shot for some friends of mine, and it involved that, like visually, it would have been that had it been out.
Oh, see,
because I didn't have it, I had to use some other something else. But now that I know this one shot I can do now in the future using these. And if you run undead graveyard type events in your campaigns or anything, this is going to fill that so well.
Oh my god,
that's so good.
Graveyards pop up all the time in these adventures, even if it's like a little side mission or whatever. And something like this, you just pop up and show your players. They're going to just be out. Their mind will be blown.
So good. So that's the Pathfinder line that's out.
Right.
All right?
Yes.
Okay. So I see on the center here we've got a fun little miniature line that you guys are doing.
Yep. So this is the Wizkids own line of Wardlings, our own little pre-painted miniatures of young adventurers trying to make their place in the world, using their abilities. As they grow up, they lose their powers because adulthood comes into play. You know, taxes will kill anybody's special powers and everything.
Yeah, and as you get older, the spark of magic sometimes just kind of dissipates.
Not for us, though. We're children at heart 100% all the way
time.
Through. Yep. So we have just a few here from Wave 3. Waves 1 and 2 were pretty much just the boy, girl, and then like clerics and fighters. We do have a warlock and we have a witch as well in this one, but we're starting to introduce more monsters now. So we have the goblins, which are making their appearance, the ghosts, which are personally my favorite because I love the translucent sculpts, and we have a few big characters as well. So we have the tree folk, and then we have a troll.
All right, let's take a look at this. This is the
tree folk. It's it's a little, I don't know, we probably can maybe get a good zoom or something on that, possibly. If you look like right on top of his little thingy right there, he's holding a rabbit on top of his head. If I had the troll actually has a backpack on. Yeah, go ahead, show those. If I had the troll has a backpack on, which actually is carrying a little goblin in it. So there's a lot of little details to this set that just adds such a great whimsical sense to it and is so adorable and amazing for all types of players, whether it be young players, new players, old players.
Right.
We have been asked a few times, how do you play with these? Because people need some type of direction or whatever.
How do you play? What kind of game would you play this in?
So this has been something we have announced. We are teaming up with Renegade Games, and we are producing kind of like a book, like a campaign book that is based solely on the Wardlings. So you'll be able to kind of get a better idea of how they interact with their environment, how the monsters interact with them. It is a little difficult to stat a child.
Sure.
So they'll be able to show you how to do that. And of course, everything you can homebrew yourself, but it's a great starting thing and gives somebody a good place to go with the Wardlings. Plus, Wave 4 will be coming out by end of summer, introducing a lot of elementals as well. So just keeping up that as, that type of monsters to bring into the games for the Wardlings to face.
Nice. That's super cool. Now, there's that other super special line that we always talk about too. Let's go ahead and move the Wardlings out of the way.
So we're going to start over here. The next wave of figures will be coming out shortly. These are part of Wave 8, and we're going to go first off with the townspeople and various accessory sets. So normally we like to release these in like individual blister packs and everything. We're trying something out here. We're going to give you an entire town of people. I believe this is 50... either 50 or 60. I think it's $50. It's a lot, but you get a lot in this. You get.
I meant a lot of miniatures.
Well, it's a both thing. Yeah, look at that.
On the back here, you can see a lot of them. And instead of just saying X, number of.
This is how much is in the box.
This is one of these, two of those.
Yep.
And it goes.
Exactly. So you see exactly everything that you're going to get. Now, what's cool about this is it's going to be a little difficult to see. I don't even know if the battery's working on this one. But we're going to be starting with LED lights now. So the forge here, actually, I'm just going to pop this, see if I can pop this boy out just by popping the bottom. There we are. Yeah. So this is actually, has a little battery in it. And you're able to turn on the forge, and you're going to get 3 like volumes of light in it, whether it be a steady light, a pulsing, or like a slow like burn or whatever. So you can paint this red, and it looks like your forge is actually on, just to add even more immersion to it and everything. Make your blacksmith look like he's actually using something on the fire.
Right.
So this is the first of many new products that we're going to be coming out this year and into next year and everything. That's going to incorporate various light effects to it, just to kind of give you a little bit more, in depth to your playthrough.
And there's not just with the forge. That's not the only thing. You're gonna get like all the accoutrement.
Oh, you're getting all the stuff with it. Yeah, absolutely.
The bellows, the tongs, the hammers, the anvil. It's super. I mean, this is.
Oh yeah, you can't just put your hand into a forge. You have to pull out a weapon. You know, this isn't a video game. This is like this is D&D.
This is real here.
Right. Exactly.
Real adventure.
Exactly.
So what else did we have?
All right. So speaking of Wave 8, we can now move on to our D&D line. So I brought a few here. Some of you may notice that the packaging is a little bit different, so we have changed it up a bit. We went from more of a brown to like a grayish color, but it's all right. It's still your same great quality figures.
Okay.
So these are two that were coming out in Wave 8.
All right. And what are those? I can't see.
One's a hobgoblin, and the other are human clerics.
Okay. Nice.
I forget how many exactly. I think it's like 10 different ones for here, 4 or 5 for Pathfinder, and then this is the one that's coming out for Wizkids. So,
it's so good.
But there are big guys coming out again. So many of you may remember like the T-Rex or the Rimmeraz or Triceratops, things like that. So in this one, we're introducing young dragons here. So I can bring these two guys here. There's going to be 4 all together. I have the green one, right? Yeah, we have the green one in here. We have a black one. We have a blue one. I believe the copper one is the 4th one in the line. And they're beautiful models of dragons that some have like the blue dragon here has an electrical blast to them and everything. So you can paint all that.
Does that stay there the whole time?
You can remove it.
Oh.
So paint that up and everything, whatever. And then when he's ready to do his breath weapon, just pop it right back in his mouth and scare the heck out of your adventurers and everything.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we have those 4 dragons, and then this wave will also have 3 giants in it as well. Cloud giant, stone giant,
and hill giant.
And hill giant. Thank you. Okay, I was trying to remember what that last one was. So we're just kind of really bringing in these figures, and these are all $14.99. So don't think because like they're dragons, we're going to be like, oh, they're going to sell better. We're going to make no $14.99, just like all of our other double base, double wide figures. Should be out around May for the whole thing. So
that's awesome. These are sick.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm excited to paint these. Yeah.
And this isn't even like the half of it, because I know here at GTS we were announcing other things that came out, like our tile system that will be available. I don't know when. We're still working on that and everything. But you make your own dungeon. There's double-sided tiles, wood or stone, interlocking stones together, and they're made in a way that you're not losing map area by making it. So it's like the walls are on the outside. You still have your normal grid.
Your 6x6 or your 10x10 is good.
Whatever it may be you want to build and everything. You're not losing any of the area because you got to put a wall on side of it.
Right.
So it's our warlock system. I love that name. So good.
I'm looking forward to that coming out as well. So where can one go if they're new watching us and are like, I need these things, and they want to get more news?
So all of our news you'll be able to find on the Wizkids Info Network, so the WIN, win.wizkids.com. You can also go to Wizkids.com, which is our main site, to kind of see a lot of stuff that we're starting to post and everything. If you're a store or a player, sign up for the WIN, because you'll get notifications about all of this and much more coming out in the future, including paint and takes and other information, like when Happy Little Minis is coming up and what they may be painting and things along that ways. Otherwise, follow us on Facebook, search WizKids, WizKids Games on Twitter. We're starting to post more on Instagram. We may also be doing some stuff on YouTube, just kind of bringing out some more information for stuff. If anything, go there for our Hero Clicks, because Scott Porter's always coming around, showing off whatever the new set of that's going to be.
Nice.
And just keep an eye out for all the great news and everything, because we're just barely scratching the surface for this year. We really are.
It's awesome. Chris, thank you so much for coming in and showing off all this stuff, all the board games. So much good stuff coming out from WizKids.
Thanks
and so
for
much
having
more.
me. It's awesome.
For all of you out there watching, thank you so much for watching all of the programming that we did here at GAMA. Thank you for watching this episode. And if any of this stuff interests you, go to your retailer and let them know. Let them know that, hey, I saw this thing, Smash City, and I would like to have that on your shelf so that I can come and get it for my table and play with my friends.
Absolutely.
All right. On that note, I'm Rick. I'll see you at the game store.
Later, guys.